Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, May Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May Vu. Welcome to the show today. I have a really fun show ahead because I have really fun guests with me. The show is going to be about one of my fantasy, actually. I have this fantasy that I would have a life partner that I could do business with and be intimate with in life. So dating and working together. And I just think it's so hot that, you know, every time I see a couple that are working well together in front of the group or a workshop or something, I'm always so envious. So today I'm going to talk with Mark and Shannon about their relationship and how they are creating their life that way. So I'm excited to bring them in. But before we go there, I want to tell you a little bit about SLC. Sex, Lies, and Consciousness are doing more fun things this week. I'm so excited. On Thursday night of this week, May 2nd, first of all, did you know that May is a month dedicated for masturbation? Yes, exactly. And I've been invited to participate. So I'm supposedly I signed up to masturbate every day starting May 1st and then document it in one way or another. So I still have to create that. But anyway, so on Thursday, May 2nd, I'm going to do a Google Hangout with a bunch of awesome people, and we are going to talk about porn and masturbation, two very, very important subjects for our healthy life and relationship and everything. And so porn is plays such a big part of our life, and it just seems to me like we all want to duck and hide and pretend it doesn't exist or laugh about it and it will go away. But I think we need to have more consciousness around porn and our relationship with porn. So we're going to be talking about that on Thursday at 6 p.m. on the Google Hangout. So you can watch it while it's streaming live on YouTube. Just look for Sex, Lies, and Consciousness Radio, and you'll find us. Okay, so now for our show today. So Mark and Shannon are new to me. I've only known them for about 2 months. Oh my gosh, we've been in such intimate relationship for 2 months, aren't we, Mark and Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're actually my coaches. I hired them to help me do marketing and sales for my business. I've been a very successful coach, traveling around the world for 15 years, but I really suck at sales and marketing. So they have shored me up and shown me the way. So I'm so excited to have been working with them. And one of the things that I love about working with them is that their synergy and dynamic and play and fun and aliveness with each other. And sure enough, it turns out that Mark and Shannon are also dating and in an intimate relationship with each other. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because there's just so much flirting going on. If you guys are not fucking, I think there's something wrong with you.
Oh, we're fucking.
So I'm... You know, aside from all the other things that we do together, I want to talk about your relationship, and I want you to talk about it on the radio show with me, because it's so much fun to watch you, and I think the freedom, because you're in because you're fucking and working together, I think there's so much more flow and energy charge between you two that is really beneficial to me as a receiver. And so I just want to explore this whole arena of what does it take to have a working relationship, to work together and to sex together and to keep that lovely balance and keep the romance and all that good stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to explore together. So you're up for it?
Yes. We're all in.
Totally.
Absolutely. This is great.
Absolutely.
So before we go too much, jump into the deep end with this, so tell them a little bit about yourself, each individually, who you are, you know, your name, your age, and then as a couple, how long have you been together, you know, just so that we can have some connection to you.
Totally.
Go first, my queen.
Well, thank you, honey. So I'm Shannon Law, and I specifically work with speakers and healers and coaches, fabulous people like May Vu, and I help them to rock their businesses, to serve more people, to make more money. I love helping my clients make like a shitload of money. It's just so fun. I love all the texts that you send me, May, and it's like, oh God, I'm like dancing around. I get so much joy and satisfaction out of helping other people make more money, doing what they love, and just making a difference in the world. And I've done a lot within the speaker industry, kind of on my professional side, and then I'll also share a little bit personally too. But in the speaking industry, I've worked with some of the best speakers in the world, and I've produced events that have led, 4-day events with over 200 people that brought in $500,000 in 4 days. So
wow.
I've had the privilege and the pleasure of working with Mark Victor Hansen with the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. He's sold over 1 billion books worldwide. Lisa Sasevich and Laura Langmeyer from The Secret. So I learned what it takes to get your message out to more people and reach more people and make a difference following your calling. And make money doing what you love and how to monetize that message. So that's kind of on the professional side.
That's so funny. I didn't know any of that.
Really? Oh, wow.
Maya and I actually started out together from the same coaching training school. We actually did a leadership program together. So we started out the same, and she just kind of like took off, and I'm like, holy.
Yes.
So
yeah, she got trained with the Coaches Training Institute. Yeah, of course. Oh, that's so great. I love it. You want to share a little?
Sure.
Professional?
So my name is Mark Allen Granger, and one of the things that really distinguished me is I'm a born and raised Alaskan. And what that really means is that I think a little bit differently about the world. I think I'm really in touch with nature, and that's caused me to go into the corporate world and help companies find meaning in what they do. I've done over 450 branding and promotional campaigns for clients like Budweiser, McDonald's. I've been advisor to Marriott, Aflac. I've done over 1,000 radio commercials and done a lot of work with television, working with corporations and helping them bring authenticity to their marketing message. I really found my joy was working with the small business owner who had something they needed to get out into the world, and I realize now that it was a calling. So really working with business owners that have this calling, conscious individuals that have been doing this internal work to become fabulous in the space that they fill, but yet struggling, realizing, after all this work that I've been doing in my life, I'd like to see some progress. I know I can impact lives. And so the money piece is a way of measuring that you're impacting more lives. There's something, I think, the whole money conversation, the enrollment conversation in itself should be a spiritual experience where you're helping people explore their pain, their pleasure, and helping them make a decision that's going to change their life. And then, bringing Shannon into my world, I think that we both have skill sets where we're both really good at a lot of things. But the things that we're genius zones at, where we're really truly at our best, we really enhance each other. And that world for me is inner game. So I really help people get clear on their inner game, get in touch with their heart, getting their heart in charge of their head, really understanding how in the being there is doing, and really turning your life over into that sense of intuition that allows you to have the impact you're meant to have, and then to have a great time while doing it. Because ultimately, today, what is working in the marketplace is having the life that you love. People want to see that you're living your purpose and you're doing what you're meant to do, and that's what inspires them to invest in you. And so that's what Shannon does, that's what I do, and together we're able to do it better and on a bigger scale.
Well, that's really why I brought you guys here, is that. Like, I want to zero in on this synergy that you guys have together. It's like individually, you're a rock star in your own right, and you're doing your thing, and things are going well. But together, there seems to be like an exponential effect here between the two of you.
Individually, we may be rock stars, but together we're porn stars.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's a big part of it.
porn star, baby.
I think we should have that on our website.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh gosh, and it's so funny. We've only been dating now, like really. I mean, we were friends for about a year before we started dating, but then New Year's Eve was like our first official date, and so last night we were like, oh my gosh, it's only been 4 months since we've been together and dating, and it's just amazing. Like
But it's really weird. I mean, we turn our life over to God, and we invite the divine in, and I think everything that is happening in our life, in our business, with our clients, really has to do with that. Because what's happened in the 4 months, Mayvu, it feels like 4 years.
Yeah. So this whole turning it over, I don't want to sound religious, but there is something here about turning it over to God, or surrendering into each other, or surrendering to the calling, however you want to use the word to describe it. I think it's really an important key ingredient here.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I struggled with religion. My dad was Catholic, my mom was Methodist. I was raised nothing. So, but yet I always just had this kind of a disgust, bad taste in my mouth around religion.
Yeah.
A lot of people have had that.
So that's not what we're talking about, but what you're talking about is this whole turning yourself over to what's possible between you two, rather than I could just see equally on the other side could be true, which is like, oh, she's great, he's great, but I'm going to wait and see. Or, oh, well, I've been burnt before, so I'm going to go slow with this relationship. It doesn't seem like that's what you're doing, because you actually don't feel like the first year.
We have what's called the BPF, which stands for butt pucker factor. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm allowing all this to just happen so quickly in my life. It feels sometimes even a little irresponsible, honestly, but it feels right. It feels like what I'm called to do, and we talk about it. The thing is we both bring some exquisite communication skills, and if we did not have those skills, we would not be together.
Yeah, and the turning over process, I grew up really strict Catholic. I went to a Catholic high school. That's like, whatever people believe, it's all good. For me, that's just like an organized religion thing, is not like what's in my heart or what's in my soul. And so it took me some time to kind of heal that relationship with, and I call it God, source, universe, but we have really turned our life, our business, our relationship over to God. And so during those sticky moments when we could retreat into fear of like, oh gosh, like what am I doing? I've been hurt before, all those stories, that's when we pray. That's when we turn it over to God, and it's a letting go process. It's saying, you know what, God, I don't know what's meant to happen here, and as a go-getter, strong, determined woman,
I know
she's a handful, I'm telling you.
It's been huge for me, of this surrendering and letting go and saying, you know what, there is a divine order for my life, for Mark's life, for all of us. And I don't know what that divine order is. God has it all figured out, and like what I've found for myself is the more I let go and just let him like be the driver, that's when all the magic and the juice and the excitement, and that's when I'm the happiest and when I feel the most alive. So the trick is continuing to let it go and turn it over and to surrender, and it's an ongoing process. It's not like you do it once and you're done. Yeah.
Every day, several times a day.
Yeah.
And there's something too about this whole, like we haven't spoken it loud enough, but like there's a lot of risks that you each are taking with each other. I mean, this is a funny metaphor, but like when I was working with you a month ago, you guys were talking about, maybe we should, I should give up my teleconference line and just use yours. We could just together use one conference line. And it's so insignificant, but I know that was a big freaking thing. You know, like you each were right? Independent business, you run your own thing, and you have your own conference line, and we're going to merge and just use one conference line.
Yeah, there's been a process of like, so as you merge businesses, as you merge identities, you know, your branding and your logo and your website and like all those things come into factor. And what we've decided for ourselves is that we each have our own brand and our own identity, and then we have our brand and our identity.
And, you know, I also think it's really important to understand, I think, and those of you that are seeking a relationship, really listen to these words. Shannon is, well, she's remarkable. And one of the things that really stood out is we had an amazing New Year's Eve together. We didn't go all the way. We both wanted to, but we didn't. And so then we started talking on the phone, and Shannon just put it out there. She's also, what's the purpose of our dating?
Oh.
I'm like,
fucking?
How do you say, to get laid all the time, but yet build a friendship? You know, I mean, there all these thoughts come through your head. And she said, I'm interested in marriage and a family, and I can't be with anyone who's not. Mm. So what I saw was this woman who I knew she and I had amazing chemistry, and she was willing to walk away from that chemistry to make sure she was going to get what she wanted. Mm. And that was very attractive to me. It was independent, but it wasn't, and she was communicating to me. That was very attractive to me as well. So that started the ability to take risks, because then I looked inward, and prior to that, I was wanting to be careful and test the waters. Is this marriage material? And with that, I said, she is marriage material, so now I need to act like she is. And from that, I mean, then we started praying, and we had a complete download as to the vision for our life. And I think within the first 2 weeks, we had a complete vision of what our marriage looked like, our business looked like, our kids, the day we get married. Everything is written down in a document, and we created it together. And it was sexy, and it was scary, and it was fun, and it was a little crazy. But it was amazing, because that started something, and then we just kind of created this mantra, I'm all in.
Oh, my God, that is so freaking scary.
Yeah. And it really has been the difference that's made the difference, because without that, I don't think, you know, when you're moving this fast, when you're moving quickly in the relationship, you're building a business together, you're not even really taking time for things to integrate and land. You know, you're still getting to know this person and their values and how they deal with life. And then let's go ahead and put the pressure of running a business on top of that.
and we're working toward marriage, so it's like
that's right.
So, okay. So there's so many questions that are coming up for me. Okay. So I love the vision. I love the declarations. I love what I call calling forth. You know, like declaring what you want, Shannon, and then Mark, you're looking at it seriously, and you heard her words, and you rose to it, right? And then game playing. It's just like, this is where I'm going. This is what I like. This is what I'm working toward. It's my bottom line kind of thing. So it's clear. So and I think there's also a level of self-worth that you had there, Shannon, about, you know, like, I'm worthy. I'm not, you know, a piece of trash, you know, or a throwaway. I'm not practice ground either. I'm serious. This is where I'm going. And so it's really it's amazing, and it's so empowering.
Yeah, and I want to add, especially for the single ladies out there that are wanting to manifest their beloved and their lifelong partner and their sweetie, like, it took a lot of relationship coaching for me to get to that point, and that's one of the reasons why I believe so much in your work, Mayvu, because we were just talking about this morning. We were on the way to the gym, and we were talking, like, you know what, there's not a healthy model out there for most people. Most of us are the product of some kind of dysfunction all the way to, like, you know, craziness. So there's not a lot of healthy models of a successful relationship, a happy, like even, you know, sometimes my parents are divorced. Mark's parents have been together for
45 years.
45 years, you know. But even when they've been together that long, like, are they truly in their joy and their bliss and their happiness, you know? And so that's what I really wanted to create, and it took going through a lot of pain to get there, you know. In my last relationship, I learned from that, and I grew from that, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get some coaching around this, you know. So, you know, when you hear the story of like, what's the purpose of your dating, and me really standing in my worth and my power and what I want, and yes, that's all true, and every coach needs a coach, okay?
And, you know, and I think, you know, and what I saw in that was someone who was willing to get coaching. And what I saw here was a woman that was dedicated to not just getting information, but applying it to her life. And, you know, I have had painful relationships as well. I mean, I'm a divorcee, so I had the pain of a relationship that didn't work, that didn't have the communication. And so as I'm seeing this happen, I'm seeing that I've attracted into my life the woman I'm meant to be with, because I'm a better man because of her. And she makes me want to step up. I mean, we have this metaphor between us of king and queen, which is really huge because she needs a king in her life. Yeah. And that causes me to look inward and see, well, how am I choosing not to stand in my power today? And it makes me want to be in my power. It makes me follow my vision more powerfully. And I know that she needs me to put my vision first before us. She needs me, and I need that. And so, but yet I'm not necessarily conditioned to do that. So it really is about us both using the relationship as a way to step up in our own individual lives and be better individuals. And then we are able to bring a sense of hotness to each other. I mean, it's amazing when we come together, the intimacy that's there and our ability to move past problems, because we realize that the problem isn't the other person. The problem is how we're framing things in our own mind. And so we're able to really have intelligent conversations when shit comes up. And we're able to, sometimes we don't move through it quickly, but we move through it, usually within a day. You know, we don't do something for weeks, and we don't punish each other, and we don't turn our back on the other person and have resentment. We walk through it. We're compassionate. And
okay, I'm going to have to slow you down because you're giving a lot of important stuff, and I want to highlight some stuff, and then I'll let you run again.
Yeah, totally.
Take the shit.
Well, I love it. I love everything that you said, and it's so important. And I don't want this to sound like I don't want it to sound so romantic that it's hard to reach. So, first of all, I want to add another version to what you guys are saying, is that, like, Shannon, you get to say to him, you know, this is where I'm going. I want a marriage, and I want a king to work with, to be with in my life. And some other people, like me, I didn't want a marriage, but I had to be clear also. So I got to say to my honey, I just want to learn to live in this moment and appreciate who I'm with in this moment. And I need to heal, you know, whatever issues that I had. Like, I needed to be with a man who really treats me like a princess, and I want to learn what it takes to receive that and to really be adored and cared for. And right now you're really providing that for me, and I just want to fully empower that. That was a new conversation for me also when I got together with my honey right now. Yeah. And it's just, so the point is, it's not that you have to declare marriage to get what you want.
That's a really great point, May. It's like, we get to write the rules, right?
That's right.
Like, it's your life. It's all, most of it's made up anyway, right? We make it all up in our own mind, and that's a whole spiritual conversation. But you get to make up the rules. You get to decide. You know, as
a woman, it's so important because, you know, it's like we've only been trained to look for a marriage or a monogamous relationship. We haven't been trained to say, this is what I really want. I want to be with you, and then I want my freedom to be with other people too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what do you want.
You get to write the rules. Like, there's no right or wrong, or, you know, there's all different options, and to just keep your mind open to what it is that's really going to make you happy. Happy is really important. This is what I've learned.
Especially for women.
Yes.
Especially for women, because men want their woman happy.
Yeah.
And if you are a woman and you see your man trying to make you happy, and you don't realize that that's what he's trying to do, and you can't be happy, then your man is never going to be able to be your king.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Gotta highlight that one.
I know, that's so good. It's so good, honey. It's so true. Like, I didn't so through this relationship coaching that I did, I was like, oh my God, he just wants to make me happy.
That's right.
That's his goal in life, Like, oh my God. And so by me being in my joy and happy, and I'm not always there, don't get me wrong, I have my moments, but by me being in my happy and in my joy, he can be more powerful. He feels like a king, and I'm supporting him, and he's winning at his game.
That's right.
And so that's a big service that I can do for him. And then when we do hit up against stuff, I try to remember, okay, he's just trying to make me happy, right? That's his goal. He's not trying to annoy me, or he's not trying to upset me. He's trying to make me happy. So what is it that I need right now to be happy? So then I can communicate that to him, and I think that's a big reason how we're able to move through things a lot faster.
I think so much of what has been conditioned in our life is that when you look at what makes you happy, or when you look at pursuing yourself to be happy, there is a lot of conditioning that you're going to butt up against, and that that we're not even really given the tools for happiness. And I think that's one of the reasons Shannon and I attract a lot of people that are kind of sexual healers. A lot of our clients are sexual healers, and I think part of our calling is to work with them to help rid the world of shame around sexuality. Because if you have shame in your life, how can you be happy? Because that shame is like a magnet. It's like gravity underneath your personality, and it pulls any effort of happiness and fulfillment. It's like, well, but I can't because I'm shameful, and it's really a disservice to the world. So one of the things you have to do is heal your shame, and you have to look at what brings up shame in you and be willing to look at it as not real, and that there is no shame in the world except how we've been conditioned to believe that it's true.
Totally.
And so by getting rid of shame, you're really able to create a space in your life where you can have fulfillment. And it comes down to getting clear about what you want, and then being able to have the courage to talk about it. If you want something sexually that your parents would disagree with, then you would have a hard time talking about it with your beloved, because you have this loop in your head that's telling you how you're supposed to be, what's appropriate, what's not. And you've got to be willing to butt up against your old conditioning and understand what is conditioning and what is really in your heart.
Well, what we're speaking to is so subtle and so, because, see, here's the thing. I have been in a wonderful 18-year marriage where my ex-husband, all he wanted to do was to please me. And what happened there was I killed it, or we both killed it. We killed him. We killed his masculinity. He ended up, after 18 years, not knowing what the hell he wants. Like, what would you like for dinner? I don't know. You decide. I mean, ended up. And now I'm with this man, and not having done that, now I also get that my current boyfriend wants to please me, but now I'm learning to do it in a way that has him be my king, be the strong. I use the word master. I like he's my master and I'm his slut, which is always so good.
That's fun.
I see role play after role play there, man.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, so there's something here. There's a very fine line between a man wanting to please a woman and losing himself in that game versus a man wanting to please a woman and being stronger and being more powerful and hotter than shit, So it's like, that's the trick here, ladies. We need to learn that difference. How we be with our men that would have them become a wuss and forget who they are and can't decide worth beans, or how we be with them to have they please us like up the wazoo, yet they become a king.
Yeah.
That's a game.
Yeah, what I've learned is the importance of uplifting my man, uplifting him and making him feel like my hero. Like actually, even deeper than that, allowing him to be my hero, which is hard sometimes.
Yes.
For a strong, determined, go-getter woman, you know.
No, I have to stop her there, because what Shannon doesn't realize is that she is an elite performer. And what I mean by that is she has got her shit together, and she gets shit done, and she's highly efficient and highly effective.
That's right.
So there's no doubt that there's a part of her that is going, is he going to be able to execute to my standard?
Exactly. And you know what?
And so
not the only one.
She didn't want the relationship to be the best it could be.
Yeah.
And make that more important than her need for safety to be in control, then I would not be able to be your king. So it's really commendable for her to be able to say, all right, I'm going to trust that my king can step up here. And what I think has happened is that I've surprised her. I've stepped into it, and then she can go, wow, and that's a turn on.
Yeah.
And it's allowing us to really find the roles that work.
And it's really simple. It's very simple, and the actions are small. You know, like I remember this one moment when you guys were working with me, and you just had to move the flip chart paper from this wall to the next, you know. And it's so easy for us strong women to step up. You go, oh, I got a handle.
Yes.
You know, do it. Versus like in those moments are the moment to practice surrendering and asking for help. You know, like, honey, would you please, you know, move that thing, and then let him decide where to move it. Let him decide, you know. So it's the everyday life action that we need to pay attention to, that will either cultivate your man into being a king or cut him down at the knee.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think it's important to address the men in that too.
Yes.
And that is, you really got to understand your vision and where to. I mean, there's times where you got to call bullshit on your woman. And you've got to be willing to say no. You got to be willing to say no. This is the direction that I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And willing to make her a little dissatisfied because it's what's right and what's in your heart.
Yeah.
It's better to maybe on occasionally piss her off, disgrunch her, not because you're trying to play hard to get or anything, but because that's what's right for you as a man.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, then she's like, okay, I can't, you know, because here's the thing, man. All women need to feel like you are protecting her from the saber-toothed tiger.
That's right.
Okay? And these days, the saber-toothed tiger could be a car that's wielding out of control coming your direction. So whatever it is, you've got to let her see that you can deal with adversity and strength. And if you bow down to her all the time, how can you deal with a real issue that's going to show up? And it's not about being difficult. It's just being really clear of your vision, really clear of your own decision making, and standing strong in that, even in opposition to your woman's opinion on occasion.
Oh, can I do a pylon, please?
A pylon.
You bet. I like that. We like pylons.
Well, I think also speaking to the men, you know, what I've seen is it is so easy to hide behind a strong woman. You know, like she makes a decision, she takes the thing, and she handles the thing. After a while, you can get really lazy and just let her make all the decision. But it's actually a slow death that you're allowing to happen. And I'm not inviting a fight. I'm just inviting presence. Like,
yes, beautiful.
you gotta know yourself to show up and bring your presence to the game, to that moment in your relationship with your woman. When we see your presence, we just get really wet down there, and our knees are weakened, and you can take us any time you want to, you know. So
it's true. I just want to add the importance of, for the men, the importance, like, we need a strong masculine man to hold that space, to be present, to, like, be in your power. And just like what Mark was saying, sometimes that's not, like, that's saying no to us, or saying, no, honey, this is where we're going. You know, this is what we're doing. And allowing him to be the leader, allow him to be the leader and trust. That the trust piece is huge.
Because here's what happens. If you choose to make it a conflict every time he does that, then he will stop asserting himself.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about no-nos, things not to do.
Okay.
Ooh, I like
all
that.
right.
For both men and women. So you guys make a list.
Okay, we'll make a list.
Is your marriage or relationship in crisis? Where one partner wants to expand into their sex and bring scary changes to the relationship, while the other partner is dug in, protective, and saying, "No way in hell is this going to happen." May knows this place well, and she can help both sides. She is truly amazing. Learn more about her specialty, crisis coaching for couples and individuals, at sexliesandconsciousness.com.
Okay, I'm back. This is May Vu with Sex, Lies, and Consciousness Radio, and I have with me Shannon Law and Mark Allen Granger. They are this hot couple that came together since January of this year and just threw themselves into this relationship with each other, both in work and in relationship and in futures and life, everything, just all in. And we're talking about what does it take to just make a relationship work when you are working together, sexing together, and all that stuff. How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it alive? How do you go all in and not let all the past boogeyman, scares you and have you hold back and wreck the relationship? So come on back, guys.
We're here.
We're here.
So let's talk about what not to do as a woman and what not to do as a man. So let's start with being the woman first. What are some top 5 bad no-nos? Do not do this, ladies.
Okay, so just the basics. These are just the basics. It might be kind of obvious, but don't call each other names even if you're upset with each other. Fight fair. You're going to hit up against stuff, but, don't, hit underneath the belt, because that stuff stings and it stays. Do your best to not be disrespectful.
Yeah.
To respect him as the leader and as the man, even if you think your way is better, and even if you think it's faster, and even if you think it's smarter. allow him to lead and don't be disrespectful. And there's going to be times where you bump up against that where you didn't mean to be disrespectful, but it could land that way. And, there's room for that, especially if you have open communication.
And I think for women in that arena where you're butting up against your desire to exert yourself because you're certain that, you need it right. You have a choice. You can be romantic or you can be right. And you're more fulfilled when you choose romance over being right.
That's good, honey.
Always, always. Yeah, so I love it. Want to highlight that. So tip number 1, a no-no is do not be disrespectful to your man. I don't care what it looks like and all that stuff. That doesn't mean you have to be a doormat either, but you got to hold respect. You respect yourself and you respect him. Therefore, you don't call each other's names. You don't get abusive. You do not hit below the belt. And we all know where that line is. So don't cheat and lie yourself on that one, because you cross that line, and it's a lifetime of fixing that.
And it's about, it's the ultimate honor of the relationship. What you're saying is that I honor you and I honor us.
Yep. I got one. Another one is don't set up tests. I know as a woman we naturally want our man to prove to us that he can save us from the saber-toothed tiger and that he will be the provider and the lover and the place that we can lean on. I get that that's a natural instinct, but don't stop fights. Don't pick a fight. It's just it's bad behavior. And when you pick a fight, when you say something to just nitpick at him or pick a fight from that. And it's if you find yourself having that urge, cop to it. Just say, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'm in the mood to fight, and I want to say things that would trigger you and that would just like cut you down, and that's just bad behavior on my part. So I'm gonna not say anything." Like it's so much better to be honest like that. That will save your ass instead of keep picking at it.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, totally.
Spot on.
And I have one for guys and the ladies. Is don't lose yourself in the relationship.
Right.
It's really important to keep your girlfriends or your guy time. Like we'll have, Mark goes and they have man night, and I don't know what they do. They go and drink beer or something. I don't know. They just go and be men. And I have my goddess parties with my girlfriends, and I think that that's a really important component that keeps it fresh and alive and sexy, and we just kind of need that extra. Girls, we need the girlfriend time to just kind of be wherever we're at and like girl it up and oh my God, I like your shoes and that's fun for us and then it also builds the polarity between the masculine and the feminine. So after a night like that and we come back, it's like, oh, the sex is super hot,
Yeah. Thanks for it.
Yeah.
And it speaks to this other dynamic underneath that is that there's something very interesting that happened between men and women. A woman, we spend all of our energy finding a mate, a connection. Once we have that mate secured, then we want our freedom. And the reverse happened with men. Men spend most of their life fighting to keep their freedom, and then they finally surrender to a woman or a relationship. Then all they want to do is make that their only thing, and then they give up everything else. And so then you start to have this conflict of like, once the relationship is consummated and solidified, the woman then, okay, I'm good. I'm satisfied now. Got my nest, got everything I needed. Now I'm ready to be free and go out with my girlfriends and all that stuff. And the guy is like, wait a minute, I gave up my freedom and now I'm stuck here without you. When are you coming home? And then that's like so unattractive to us women.
Yeah.
So don't
do that, guys. Keep your own life.
Exactly. So keep your freedom, men. You need it. Keep your motorcycle, keep your whatever, be a buddy and whatever. It's good for the relationship. And if a woman doesn't understand that and support that, then you need to date better. I love that phrase, date better.
Yeah, that's good.
Mark, come on in, honey.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if you were done with the women's no-nos.
No, keep going.
I was thinking one of the things I think is a no-no is don't assume that you know how relationships work. Shannon and I spend a lot of our time reading, going to seminars, learning about communication, and we get how a relationship works. So therefore, we make time to do guy night and woman night, and it's really important because when you start to see how relationships work, when you know how individuals work, how communication works, you realize that you need constant coaching on it. You need constant reminders to make sure that you're holding that right space. And I think one of the gifts that Shannon and I have been given is that we both have a value for growth. And with that value, that means that we know, I can't do this on my own. I need some tools. I need some support. I'm going to go get it, and then I'm going to implement it. And we're both very quick at implementing. If you're the kind of person that you've done a lot of the work in your life, and then you get around your family and you're seeing that they're not evolving, or you get around certain people that they have the same story and they're not able to implement what they learn, it probably frustrates you. And that can be very tough in a relationship. I think one of the things that makes us work is we both share that value of growth, which means when there's something that's not working, we're going to find a solution, and we're going to find it now. We're not going to wait. We're going to find a solution. We're going to find it now, and we're going to implement it now. And we're going to support each other because we're not looking for perfection. We just want progress. And if there's an issue that we're butting up against and we can see the progress and we can see that each other is working on it, that's all we need. And then
I think there's progress, but I think underneath what you're saying is connection. Because when you're working on it together, whether you're doing your individual work or not, you're connected. It's when one still and, get stuck in the corner, and the other one is like pulling, pushing, trying so hard. There's no connection there. There's just fighting and struggling.
Right.
So painful. Yeah. So how about no-nos for men?
Another no-no for men is, I would say, don't tolerate your woman not putting the relationship first. It can be like, for instance, I said to Shannon the other day, we were just in a really beautiful place, and I said to her, let's commit that no matter what's going on in life, that we come back to here. To here.
Yeah.
And it was a very tender moment. She looked at me, and we had some beautiful tears, and it was And so you can't allow apathy or resentment to take over. You've got to be able to go, all right, I'm willing to give up my agenda. I'm willing to give up what I think I need in order to come back to this. And both of you commit to that. And that's, I think, as a king, a master, that is your job in the relationship, is to really set the container of, this is what our relationship is going to be. This is what we're going to focus on. And damn it, woman, you need to get in line, because and when it's about about creating our life, she'll listen.
Yep. And this is like 10 times harder, or no, probably 1,000 times harder when you start having kids.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh, my God. And there's something happens to the woman, and I experienced it myself. Once I had my daughter and that little precious, beautiful baby girl or boy, whatever, I lost track of my relationship with my ex-husband. I lost track of that importance. It became a transactional affair rather than a love affair with him, because I was so in love with my baby, and there's something, that maternal instinct that comes out, and it's just like suddenly I made a choice between, if I have to rank, this one comes first. Boy, that just killed everything. It just erodes everything like quicksand.
Beautiful, man.
So hard not to grab that one. And since then, as I work with other couples, it's just like this pattern, this way of the psyche affect all of us, couples after couples after couples. It's like the kids become the center of their relationship, and then they lost sight of each other, and they think that it becomes a transaction. Here, you take him, I'll take her, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's no longer the couple is special, and that's where it falls apart.
Beautiful. Just last night, Shannon was telling me of when she was a kid, she was babysitting three daughters, and she saw the husband and wife have just this erotic, open-mouthed, passionate kiss. It just made her just really, it was an imprint experience for her. Something.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that, like right now, we've declared that we're planning on having a family. So we've declared that for now, God, that our independent life, that our relationship are all more important than our business. But yet the demands of business often are much more, there's more to do, and it's always at the front of our mind. So we have to consciously make the decision to put those other things first.
Yeah.
Where we're at now is we're kind of in this thing where we're looking at agreements, partnership agreements, and what it is that we agree upon. And we want to get those things in place before we have the family, so that it helps us keep those priorities in line.
Yeah.
So you're spot on.
That's so good, because it's such a practice. It's a daily practice. I practice choosing you. People look for love, and they look for romance, and they look for the one. I don't think there's such thing. I really think it's whoever you choose to invest in, you choose to focus in, you choose to honor and respect, and just make that your daily practice.
Beautiful. Well said.
I know. I kind of take all the prettiness out of it, but I think we're just like running ourselves down the wrong road, thinking that there's a better one out there. It's how we show up in that relationship.
That's a really good point. And I think it's especially tricky for couples in business together.
Yeah.
So there's the dynamic of our relationship, then there's the dynamic of working together. And some of the things that we've found is to have clear roles in business.
Mm-hmm.
To have like, okay, these are the things I'm responsible for. These are the things he's responsible for. And then, ladies, do your best not to micromanage. Like, okay, those are the things he's taken care of. I'm trusting it's getting done. I'm going to just focus on the things I need to get done, but it is a dance, and
I have to give Shannon a tremendous amount of credit because one of the roles that I play is the money side, and in business, that is the breadth of the business, and she has complete faith in me and trusted me. Now, I'm also very transparent. And I think that leads to that. And we're putting systems together, and we're talking about it, and we have a plan. And so it goes back to the communication. But it really is, getting clear on what your strengths are, what you like and don't like, what they like and what they don't like, and then allowing you to step into what you're good at and allowing that to serve the relationship, the business, and then trusting, and then realizing that mistakes are going to be made. And when it does happen, it doesn't mean a catastrophe. It just means, okay, we need to regroup, we need to get clear, and then move forward anew and start again.
Yeah. So much in there, too. It's the whole, it's easy, all of these are easy said than done because trusting someone, it seems like such a fair concept. It's like everybody should be able to trust someone. But really, if you think about it, how we show up every day with each other, where he puts his napkins, how he does his dishes, like we have so much opinions on how it should be done. And that whole nitpicking thing that Shannon talked about, don't second guess your man. That's a no-no.
Right.
Yeah, just let it be. So what if it's a mess? So what if it's illogical? Yeah, I have that thing. I'm like, oh, honey, you're so illogical. I can't stand it because I'm a mechanical engineer at heart. I do see things so clearer, but I can't just enforce all of that all the time because, like earlier, do I want to be right or do I want to be sexy, luscious, to be loved and to be adored? I think I would trade being right for being adored, I'll give that up.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that's why, Mayvu, I think that what you said there is, I don't think that that's possible without giving it to the divine. And so every morning, Shannon and I don't live together yet, so every morning we talk to each other on the phone and we have prayer. And it's in that prayer that we change our state and we call into the day our intention to live like you just said, where we get out of our mind and we set the intention that our opinions, our mind loops, our rules don't govern our relationship or our business. That something greater than us does. And then we repeat that process before bed at night. And it's been a beautiful, I've never had that component in a relationship before. And it's really deepened our intimacy. When we did have a pretty crunchy moment between us one time. And it was 45 minutes of prayer and tears and complete surrender. And within 24 hours, we had miracles showing up. These things to provide us resources and tools to move through it. And it totally deepened our relationship. Since that time, we redefined our roles, roles that work. The sex has been hotter. The business has rolled better. And so that wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have been giving it to the divine.
Yeah. So in what you say there, there's a word that we haven't mentioned yet, and I think it's really actually there are two words. They go together: humility and humbleness.
Yes.
Like go at this with lots of humility and lots of humbleness. So trade in your proud and protection uniform for humility and humbleness. And so that you can surrender quickly, so that you can let God, angel, universe, whatever your source is to guide you, and let each other show up for each other, instead of trying to be right and protective. And I've done both ways, and I know the pain of both sides, and it's just like I'd rather take the side of adoration and sexiness and love than the right side.
That's all there is. That's all there is. That's our birthright, and that's what we need to realize is that we need to, by giving it to the divine, we're returned to who we really are.
Yeah. Namaste. Blessings to you both and your relationship. May it flourish and become whatever it wants to become in this world. And know that I'm a friend. I'm a fellow traveler, and I'm a supporter. I'm right here to support you guys.
Thanks, May. We love you.
We love you.
Hey. Tell them a little bit about what you do and how they can get a hold of you.
We're like, okay, so who's going to share?
And then now we have like, oh wait, tell them.
Yes, yeah, we can both share. So we specifically work with conscious business owners and visionary entrepreneurs who are up to big things in the world. They have a message to share. They have a calling to follow. They want to really make a difference. And so we have created an exciting event specifically for you. If that message resonates for you, we would love to have you as our guest. I think the thing that makes our events different is, first, we're just transparent with our life, and we just bring it and let you know like the real deal. But I think the biggest thing that makes it different is that we combine Mark's strengths of the inner game and helping you release all that stuff, all those self-limiting beliefs, the fear, the self-doubt, the like, I'm not good enough, all those old stories, and we just bust all that stuff out. You know, if you've been like capped with your income and you need to just bust through your money ceiling, like we handle that during the 2 days. And then together we also help you with the concrete business strategies, those step-by-step, highest leverage stuff. Like we have friends and colleagues who have been like, you know, in other programs and other trainings, and they're still spinning their wheels, not making any money, and we're just sick and tired of it. We're like, it doesn't need to be that hard.
Right.
So we said, okay, fine, I guess we have to create our own event to help people get on the fastest path to cash, stop spinning their wheels, and so they can make the difference that they're called to make.
I have to tell you, I have to jump in because I've been the beneficiary of that, and it's just been incredible. And I actually show up as a much better coach and provide so much better service and attention to my client now that I bust through the inner game with Mark and follow Shannon. It's just a world of difference. And I swear, Mark, when you did that inner game changing belief and going back and all that stuff, I do that with my clients all the time. But when you did that to me, there was a part of me that goes, wah, 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 it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And I was like, I totally bust up my money ceiling, totally have changed in less than a month. It's just,
I know,
we
it's great.
love it.
You know, May, there was a point we had, just so people know, May did some inner child work. And there was a point where she kneeled down to talk to her inner child, and her eyes were closed. And Shannon and I looked at each other, and we both touched our heart because it was so beautiful. And I knew right then and there you were changing your internal map of your mind, and it was just awesome.
It was so fucking amazing. I'm telling you. And I do this for people all the time, and I see it for them, but I was such a cynic, and it was so clear that it wasn't going to work for me because I know the game, I know the trick. And it was just like, oh, my God, I can't believe this is happening. It's just awesome. So anyway, go,
for this day event, I mean, you're gonna be inspired. Not only do we give you that kind of content, Shannon and I have invested over $100,000 each in our own evolution, and we've been to all the events. So we're going to bring a motivational, inspirational approach to getting you inspired. We're going to help you. We're not just going to lay a whole bunch of information on you. You're going to be up and moving and connecting, and you're going to be inspired to change your life. So if you're really being called to work with someone who's going to help you get in touch with that calling and monetize that message, we're going to invite you to this event. Now, this event is a $1,000 value, but because you're on here and you know May, you know how this works, we would love to offer you a full scholarship to this event. It's going to be on June 8th and 9th in Concord, California. And all you need to do is go to thepersuasionequationlive.com, and you'll see the entire enrollment letter there. It gives you all the information. And I believe that we still have enough scholarship tickets, and you'll know because it'll say apply for your scholarship. And you can just click on that, put your name and email address in, and get applied for your scholarship, and you'll get the full scholarship to the 2 full-day event. And we would love to have people like May there because we love what she's doing. She's on this earth to rid the world of shame around sexuality, and she has the courage to do it. So we'd love to have you there.
It'd be great. Yeah, this was wonderful, May. Thank you so much.
And make sure when you're there, come and tell us you heard this radio show.
Yeah.
Love to know. We would love to know what you took from it. I think down the road, Shannon and I really feel called to talk about spiritual partnership, and we're just what we're going through now and what we're learning now is really those tools that we talked about today, and eventually those tools we will have available to our clients, and because the world needs this. People are being called.
Do you want more sex, lies, and consciousness?
To go out there and make things happen.
Access our archives at sexliesandconsciousness.com. While you're there, please leave your comments or suggestions for the show and participate in current SLC conversations with other listeners worldwide.
Thank you, Shannon and Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing.